Longest lasting disposable vape, longest lasting cars, longest lasting light bulb. That's the third most searched longest lasting thing. What's longest lasting? There it is. Longest lasting fragrances, right under longest lasting fruit and right ahead of longest lasting fridge. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. How are you doing? Today we're gonna be taking a look at 10 extremely long lasting fragrances for men. We've got niche in here and designer, a good mix. So these are scents that off of skin are gonna last just hours and hours and hours. And if you spray them on your clothing, yeah, who knows? You spray it onto your coat, put it up in a closet, go check it 6 months later, it's probably still gonna be there. So let's jump into it, guys. Let's tackle some of these long-lasting scents. These are gonna be linked in the description below. They are in no particular order. And if you shop at twistedlily.com or maxaroma.com, how do you like that segue? Use the code GENTS10 for 10% off your order. Those are also linked down below. Also, luckyscent.com until the end of March. The code GENTS2022 will get you 10% off. And I also have an extra channel, Extra Gents Scents. Check that out. More fragrance stuff. Would you believe it? You're missing out on other fragrance videos. Now let's start with this guy right here. Mugler's Amen. Now this is the original Amen right here. And the first time I smelled this fragrance was years and years ago, back when I was young and I didn't have any gray hairs. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you are living that right now. Lucky dog. Be able to stay up until 4 a.m., wake up at 7 a.m., go to work, still feel okay. Try to do that now. Oh no. No thanks, I'm calling in. But Amen, yes, this has been out since the mid-90s. And the first time I smelled the stuff, I was taken aback in a bad way. I was like, what is going on here? It smells like asphalt or something, like tar. But you know what happens? You get older, your taste changed. That was no look. That's also why I sprayed half of it on my hand just now. And then you think, why did I ever think of that fragrance smelling that way? It's awesome. It's a sweet, rich fragrance with patchouli, a lot of depth, a lot of body, and as I said, huge staying power. I think it actually still smells very unique also. When you smell Amen, that doesn't smell like anything else out on the market, at least not anything from a mainline designer. There are other fragrances out there trying to directly copy Amen, but that doesn't count. The big bummer about Amen and the Amen line is that Mugler killed off all of the Amen flankers, which some of those are just amazing. But still yet, you're looking for an extremely long-lasting fragrance. This is long-lasting. Let's hop over to niche with Parfums Marleys Halton. Yeah, that's the correct way to pronounce it. I just decided. Halton. So this one smells similar to Initio's Oud for Greatness, although it does have a more masculine tinge to it than Oud for Greatness, which makes sense because Initio and Parfums de Marly are sister companies. And just like Oud for Greatness, this one lasts an eternity off skin and clothing. And frankly, the Initio could be in this list too. But then that'd be a little bit redundant, wouldn't it, to have both those in here? I think if you pick this one up at a good price during one of the sales that some of the fragrance discounters run, or just in general from a fragrance discounter, it's worth picking up. Because during cool weather seasons, cool weather months, this is an absolute killer, a great fragrance. I guess we'll just hop back and forth between designer and niche. After that, Eros Parfum from Versace. Now, pretty much all the Versace Eros fragrances have great longevity for me. The Eau de Toilette lasts forever, projects like a beast. The Eau de Parfum, same deal. Even Eros Flame, very nice. But the Parfum version is my absolute favorite. Now, I think for a lot of people, maybe the Eau de Parfum works a little bit better. As I've said before, kind of a Goldilocks fragrance. Maybe the Eau de Toilette is a little bit too youthful for you, and the Parfum is a little bit too refined. So the Eau de Parfum, you know, it's right in the middle. It works. But for my own personal taste, this is the one. It is, as I said, a little bit more refined than Eros Eau de Toilette. Actually, a decent amount more grown up than that one. It's smoother. It's not as aggressively kind of, you know, bubblegum sweet like Eros Eau de Toilette can be. It's got kind of a vanilla feeling in there as it dries down. That's more of a warm, rich vanilla. The opening is not as bombastic, but it still lasts forever. And Eros Parfum is an amazing compliment pulling fragrance, which really the whole Eros line is, the EDT, the EDP, Flame, and this one. But Eros Parfum, for me, if you're looking for just the smoothest, richest, longest lasting Eros, that one. This next fragrance is one of the strongest ones in this whole list, and you can tell immediately. As soon as you see this stuff, you know. It is Amber Kiso from DS and Durga. Just look at the color of that stuff. That is not playing around. This is the type of fragrance that you look at, and if you're wearing a white t-shirt, you reevaluate. You're like, I don't think it's worth it. Could it stain your clothing? Yes. Could it stain your skin? I don't know. It's possible. If you know nothing about the fragrance, nothing about the house, you hear the name Amber Kiso, you see that red coloration, you think to yourself, okay, I know what I'm in for. Very warm, sweet resins, probably some cinnamon, spice, stuff like that. No friend. This is a different sort of Amber Kiso. Leather, a good amount of leather, quite pungent right from the get-go. Also have a good amount of woods in here and incense as well. So you're getting hit with a trifecta of powerful notes, woods, leather, and incense, but it still comes across smelling very rich, masculine, and powerful. I feel an easier fragrance to wear than Gucci Guilty Absolute, but it's kind of in that wheelhouse. So you could think of it as the classier, higher end big brother of Guilty Absolute. And it's kind of like that, but it doesn't have as much of a medicinal feel as Guilty Absolute does. Goes without saying, it's not for everybody. Back to designers, we go with H24, the Eau de Parfum from Hermes. Now, I am not a fan of the Eau de Toilette of H24. That stuff just never really did work for me. I like the opening pretty well. The opening is green and sweet and is different from other things out there, but then once that opening goes away and it starts to dry down, it just smells to me very thin, very metallic, and just not very pleasant, frankly. The Eau de Parfum is better than the Eau de Toilette for me because it has a little more going on, a little more interesting, a little more depth, a little more intrigue. Now it's still on H24, don't get me wrong. When you smell this stuff, yeah, it smells similar to the Eau de Toilette, without doubt. But I like what they've done here, kind of fleshing out the bare bones of H24. I'm still not head over heels in love with it or anything, but I think that if this style works for you, then that's fine. For me, for a more versatile type scent, I'm gonna lean on some of these other ones that I wear more often, but at least with H24 Eau de Parfum, when I smell that, I'm like, okay, I could wear this. And it does have great longevity off my skin as well. So that's an added benefit, unless you hate the fragrance, then it's a con. Do keep in mind though, with H24, both the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum, this is that style of scent that some people are gonna go nose blind to. Okay, next up from Tiziana Terenzi, Ursa. This fragrance has a similarity to Straight to Heaven from By Kilian, and it packs a wallop. Lasts a long time, projects like a beast. The presentation looks pretty nice. It's got this pretty plain matte white bottle down here, but that's not what you're really looking at, is it? No, you're looking up top. You're looking eyes up there. Big, huge gold cap with a very fancy ornate design up top, and it is quite heavy. A potential destructive hockey puck. Be careful with it. Don't drop this onto your hardwood floor. You know, you could chip this stuff or break your toe. This one, a boozy sweet fragrance with dried fruits and a great woodiness as it does dry down. Extremely versatile, big compliment puller, and oftentimes you can find it for a pretty good price from discounters, which makes it a solid pickup. Back to designers, we go from Ursa in the all white bottle to 212 VIP Black from Carolina Herrera. This one made more for a night out, and also that's how it's marketed. You know, it's like a clubbing fragrance, date night fragrance if you don't go too heavy with the trigger, or just kind of bopping around town. Bopping around town. It's like I'm from the 50s or something. We're just going out bopping tonight. Vanilla, lavender, and absinthe. Some of the notes in the fragrance, of course, absinthe being the note that people are going to key in on the most there, because lavender, yeah, everybody gets that. Everybody knows lavender. Vanilla, yeah, of course. Absinthe, not as much. But don't worry too much. It's really just kind of a boozy sweetness that you're gonna get from the absinthe. It's not like a real wormwoody kind of note here. 212 VIP Black, I think nowadays it's overlooked because this stuff still absolutely rocks. Niche Musk Ravageur, Frederick Malle. This one, a bit divisive. Some people really despise this fragrance. Other people think that it's one of the greatest fragrances that has ever been made. Yes, of course, there's people in the middle who think that it's, you know, good, but not that good. But a lot of times people find themselves on one side or the other there. I think it's really, 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 really good. It's got this great balance of sweetness and spice, especially in the opening. Those spices almost have a warming effect. Like when I smell it, I feel like almost my body is like heating up. Some people will find it to be too animalic. Other people will find it to be not animalic enough. I think it's just right. I think it's balanced just right. Back to designers, last one for the list. It's kind of a different vibe with these ones. So I'm gonna do a 2-for-1 from Del Pozo, Jesus Del Pozo, or if you go by what it says on the bottle, J Del Pozo. Gold Amber Nights, and also Tobacco Wood Nights. Both of these great performers. We'll just hit this really quickly. Gold Amber Nights, kind of an Aventus type fragrance. So it has that sort of fruity sweetness. It's gonna remind you of the pineapple opening in Aventus, but not so much that smoke. Instead, this leans more into being a sweet, warm, kind of smooth Aventus type fragrance instead of having that real woodiness. Tobacco Wood Nights is a different style of fragrance altogether. It's not Aventus at all. Instead, it's tobacco, obviously, spices, it's resins, leather. It reminds me a little bit of Cavalli Uomo La Notte, which also reminded me of CH Privé. So it's kind of in that wheelhouse, in that style. Basically, if you like CH Privé, if you like La Notte, you'll probably like this one. And it does have bumped up performance compared to those two, so that's nice. Last one, Taroni from Ordo Parisi. This fragrance is a little bit unforgiving, which frankly, a lot of fragrances from Ordo Parisi and also Nasamato, those are sometimes taking no prisoners, which I'm fine with. You know, it gives a little extra flavor, a little extra spice to the world. When you spray it on in the opening, it's just, it smacks you right across the face. Very disrespectful. It's maybe slightly astringent off the top, but you know, some Nasamatos and some Ordo Parisis can be like that, but I think it smells fine. I'm just letting you know, if you've never smelled any of them, you maybe don't know what you're in for. And it's not that it's, you know, this kind of fragrance where you're going to recoil in horror. I don't mean it like that. It's just, it's strong and it's not making any excuses for it. It's got this earthiness to it, smokiness, woodiness as well. A little hint, a tinge of sweetness that's kind of underneath all that, but you have to seek it out. You know, it's kind of like along the edges, like this just little faint drop of sweetness. It has been compared to Nasamato's Black Afgano. So it's, again, kind of in that wheelhouse. It doesn't smell like a one-to-one with Black Afgano, but like I just said with the last fragrance, if you like Black Afgano or fragrances like that, you'll probably enjoy this one too. It is cold weather only. I would never try to wear this in the summer. I mean, you could do it, you know, if you really want to punish those around you. I mean, you do you. But yeah, that one is wintertime only. Really nice evening fragrance, actually. Don't spray too much of that on. It's gonna last forever, carry on the wind, and have this really nice kind of mysterious vibe to it. Go really, really heavy with it, and yeah. So there we go, 10 extremely long-lasting fragrances. I think each one of these is wearable in its own way. Some of them much easier than others, but none of these to me are gimmick fragrances that are just strong solely to be strong, and then that's it. Thank you all for hanging with me here. Let me know some of the fragrances that you wear that are just monsters off your skin. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you all later. VIP Black from Caroline. What am I doing? It's like I'm making an Illuminati sign. Hey, almost bit my tongue.